This is a presentation of the forces of the Moot under the banner of the strawberry cake. Most of the figures are GW Citadel figures from the 80s up to the 90s and into the 2000s. There are also figures from other manufacturers, and I'll try to name them as we see them. Here's my main battle flag, the strawberry cake, and this is a Battleforge miniature. Rules for the halfling army are pretty old, and the closest the ones I have are from the Citadel Journal number 36, I think it is, right here. If you want to play another game, Armies of Arcana has a halfling list in it also. This is the first set of my army. About 98% of these miniatures are Games Workshop Citadel miniatures. Somewhere along the line, I started patterning these guys after the Napoleonic Russian colors, so there's a lot of green and white in there. On the left, you'll see one of my spear units, which is blue and yellow, not green and white. And then the three units on the right are all... The Lumpkin Troops up on the first unit on the right is still available from Games Workshop. This unit's about 100 strong. This is my heavy infantry. They have light armor and shields. And they're supposed to hold the line. Good luck. This is the militia unit. They just have hand weapons, and they're just there to take up casualties. There's also about 100 of them. Here are my elite troops. These have great weapons. They go from a strength 2 to a strength 4, so maybe they can possibly wound something, even with their weapon skill 2. So they're still pretty pathetic. But those are my elites. I have some Games Workshop Citadel horses from the 80s, but they're hard to get, so there's only a very few of them. And here's not a good picture of it, but that's what I got. This is the only halfling of the bunch that I actually made myself. All my armies have a little bit of silliness to them. I put a couple gnomes in the army, and that's one of the Gandalf figures from the 80s that Games Workshop made, and that's one of the Lord of the Rings halflings they made too. This is the second set of my army. Here you'll see the cavalry, chariots, artillery, and animals. Here's my light cavalry. These are made by the Battleforge. I like these a lot. As you'll see in the next picture, their horses have all kinds of silly little looks on their faces. Paul from the Battleforge is a really great guy, and he's always fun to deal with when getting miniatures from him. Here's a close-up of one of the horses. In the next picture, you'll see my heavy cavalry unit, which is also the riders are Battleforge, but the rams are actually from Dwarf Wars. So I went ahead and combined them, and then had a painter paint them. So they turned out really cool. I wish this picture had turned out cool, which it didn't, but this is one of the riders on one of the rams. Tim, a well-known painter, painted this one for me. Unfortunately, this one was done so well I can't use it in the army. Here you have one chariot and two wagons that are chariots. Two are Battleforge and one is a Citadel conversion. Here you have a unit of doggies. I have more doggies, but they're doing service in another army at the moment. I was short on artillery, so I went ahead and got an Empire rocket battery and cut it down so it was a little more pathetic, and also found a piece from the 80s that I was able to add to make a second battery. Here is the Battleforge pie mortar. a very cool miniature that Paul had made and is selling now. Here you'll see some Battleforged sheep and also some cooks. I don't like the hot pot, but I do like the cooks, and there's also a couple Battleforged cooks there with the bones and in the red. The unit on the left has Citadel and Harlequin miniatures in it. The unit on the right is our Black Hat miniatures. Very cool little spear unit there. On the left you'll see the hassle-free Remus model. Caesar, you can use them as a general. Then back again to Black Hat miniatures where you've got Elvis. And this one reminds me of the Killer Rabbit in the Holy Grail. And these are all his little minions behind him. Here's a little badger that's with him. And some skunks. And I'm not really sure who made all of these miniatures. In the Citadel Journal list, they have a chuck wagon as the battle standard, so this is my chuck wagon as it's already set up. These guys don't get to fight in the army because they're reserved for Mordheim. This is my Mordheim gang. Okay, that's about it. I have one more halfling army, but it's a surprise, and part of it's still at the painter, so I will be showing that for a couple weeks. Leave comments, and if you have any ideas for other units for the army, leave those too, because I always like new ideas. Later I'll show my Empire Stirland army, which is supposed to back this up since the Stirland is right next to the Moot, and also there's a dwarven stronghold that's close to that. Also I use some of the dwarves to support this halfling army too. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If you get a chance, please also go to the Hal's Yahoo group. That's the Halfling Army Lovers support group. There you can get information about other halfling armies that are around the world and meet some other people that like halflings.